We're back on the Mark-to-Mark conversation, and we are going to be talking sports. We, of course, going to be rambling on a little bit because we have somebody in the studio who's a friend of ours and a big man as far as Ugandan football is concerned. Not Ugandan football, just football generally. And when the three of us get together, we're bound to talk non-stop. It's been a while since we had conversations with Mujib Kasule on official forums like these ones. And we are relishing the opportunity. Mujib, welcome to the studio. You do not need introductions, but just in case somebody just dropped off, I don't know which planet, this is the man who played football at KCC and then played football with the national team and then has been in every segment of the game since that time. He's been an agent, he's managed the game, he's coached it, he has administered it, he has everything. Yeah,
he's played football in the US, played football in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Supports the wrong team called Spurs.
Yeah, he has helped so many players come up, and he's spent a lot of his personal fortune on the game. So we will be talking football with him. We are going to largely be talking about the Uganda Cranes because of the competition that is CHAN, that is winding up, and also because of upcoming World Cup qualifiers and AFCON in December in Morocco, and AFCON after that, which we'll be hosting in another 2 years. So there's a bit to talk about the national team, what's transpired and what the way forward is. Hopefully we can also get Mujib to say one or two things about the upcoming domestic season, because without a league, there's no Cranes. Let's start here. Mark, I'll come to you, but let me start with you. We'll go straight into it. What did you make of the Cranes' performance vis-a-vis the rest of the tournament? What has basically in football speak this tournament been like for you?
First of all, I'm happy to be joining the two of you and make the triple M.
Yeah. Thank you.
The Mark-to-Mark.
Thanks. Yeah.
And
So just call it triple M.
Yeah, triple M, yes.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, it's a great time for us who are not only in football but in sports, because CHAN had two aspects. One, the ability of the country to host such a tournament. We won the test for that. Then also the test of the team on the ground or on the pitch. And for us to call ourselves successful, we needed both ends to perform on both ends. I am extremely proud that I feel Uganda has done a tremendous job in terms of hosting CHAN. Whatever it takes, and it's not an easy thing. People just see when the tournament starts, but before the tournament starts, the arrangement, the infrastructure, the money that government has to invest in. And for me as a football person, seeing government coming closer to the game and investing and being passionate about it can only yield many great things for the game. And I think as we stand, we have been almost perfect off the field with the organization. We haven't had any hitch that is really significant. And Ugandans, if they would have made news. The news we made was outside, away from the local organizing committee. On the pitch, we started very, very badly. But for me, I am always happy to play the strongest team first, because after that, you see the mistakes. But most importantly, especially for the inexperienced players, the stage fright now, you have dealt with it. Mm-hmm. When you go to play the weaker teams, you are on equal footing now. The boys are good to go, and we saw that poor performance against Algeria. Then we pick ourselves up with the strength of the Uganda Cranes, but Ugandans generally. We are very resilient, we are very persistent, we are physical in a way. So we don't give up. And those three qualities, took us past both Guinea and Niger. And then came South Africa, and then we were completely outplayed on the pitch for almost 88 minutes. But we had those 6 minutes of madness in football. When they fall on your side, you celebrate for a week. And that's what happened to us, that we were able to again draw into our strength, resilience, never giving up, and being able to go and continue to go. And we got the result. And we performed well. For the first time, getting out of the group was very important, most especially the fact that we were hosting. If we had not gotten out of the group, it was going to be very, very terrible. But all of a sudden, we got out of the group, and we are satisfied. The boys did a great job. The team performed. In some of the games, you could see they are punching above their weights, but still, they competed very well. They represented us well. And we were respected at the end with our performance on the field and how the team fared.
Okay. Yeah, Mark actually believed that that result, that game and result, is the biggest we've had at Nambole. I think because of the significance, the South Africa game, Mark. And but yeah, you chip in here. How do we rate Molebi Kwaso and Fred Muhumuza and their performance in the dugout? How do we rate their selection of the squad that actually played, knowing who plays in the league, and how then they went about their selection throughout the tournament, and how do we rate those players themselves? I'd like for us to go there and just take a wholesome look at that team. Is it the team that should have been out there for us, and who missed out, who should have played more? Did Mole and Muhumuza make the right calls? Did they manage the touchline well? Largely because for them too, I believe this was a learning process, and yet there's more to come. Yeah,
in terms of first of all, we were surprised just a few weeks to Chan when we learned that Paul Put was not going to be the one coaching the team during Chan, yet we all knew he was the coach. For some reasons, that did not come to pass, and we were given Mole and Muhumuza.
What could be the reason from your side as someone who's been...
I investigated it immediately, and I was told that Put did not want to coach the team. And of course, the reasons Put gave were weak. He said he wanted to concentrate on the World Cup qualifiers and AFCON, so he wanted to use that time to go to Europe and find more players. I was like, wait a minute, the players are here. The Chan players are here, and they're about to play a major tournament that you can use.
Yes. Exactly.
Now you're saying you're living it, but I think deep inside, he did not think that he had a pretty good team that was going to do the job. And as you know, those people, they don't want anything that would dent their CV. Since he came here, he doesn't believe in the players. And he has openly voiced it to even his bosses, that the players that are here, the domestic players are not good enough, they are small, all the issues that actually some of us actually agree with. But when you are given the job, the job is to improve them. And they're right here. You just can't abandon them and then think that you're going to go and pick anybody who has a link to Uganda, even when they're playing in much lower leagues. But that is the reason, is because he did not believe in the team. I saw him in the qualifiers. He was really, because in the qualifiers, we beat Burundi home and away. Both matches were in Nachivugo, but we were not comfortable. The way the team was playing was not good. They didn't look like a team. And I think he said no. So he gave the team away. Then they chose Mole and Muhumuza. Mole had a good track record. At least he had been at an international tournament, CAF Under 20. And in that tournament, he went all the way to the final in one of them. So I think he had an experience. He has great experience. He had just won the league with Villa a year earlier, and he has experience. Now, when Mole summoned the team, when they gave him the team, they gave him the players. But after 1 week, they changed and they allowed him to include some players that Put had not included in the squad. And a week after training had started, Put comes back. Remember, FIFA had designated him as a supervising coach.
Yes.
Something that is not there in
It doesn't exist.
who's the supervising coach. And rightly so, when training starts, all of a sudden, Put is in charge.
Yeah.
During training and then friendly matches, Mole is in charge. Now, after the Algerian game, if you knew both Put and Mole, you could tell that the first match was not Mole's team. The way they played, because Mole is a Mourinho kind of a coach. Organization, defense first, work ethics.
Solidity.
That's what Mole is about. He organizes that very well. Put likes to play expansive football, give players freedom, you can roam around, but Mole is not that. Now, after the Algerian game, hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the country, to the highest office.
You
Pressure was there.
You are there.
were at State House at that infamous meeting.
So after that, I think Mole sat down with his bosses and said, guys, if I am the one on the touchline, allow me for the next match to do the things how best I know. Such that I take control of the game, let me lose, but with my input directly. Let me be in charge of the team.
And would you hold it there? Could that inform, or rather, could that have been the reason why Alan Okello was stripped of the captaincy for Roger Storage after that meeting?
Those are the changes that Mole made. And if you know Mole in the league, the moment we all saw Regan Impande in the team.
Yes.
First of all, everybody castigated him for including Regan Impande because people had been complaining throughout the league. Mole and Regan Impande at Villa. The boy goes, he makes mistakes, he doesn't substitute him, he brings him back. The fans always had that issue with him. So when everybody saw him, the journalists knew it. Like Mole and Impande, people are saying, Oba Mukodomiwe, the things back in the day, what the fans say when the coach likes a player. And so when he included him in the team, everybody knew now, this is a Mole team. And the way they were organized, the work ethics, and I think...
I actually thought Regan Impande gave the team a lot of balance.
Exactly.
They
didn't have balance in the match before. Remember, Alan Okello was played in the middle. Alan Okello is not a midfielder. This young man is a forward. Give him the forward role, give him what we call a free role, he will thrive. But in the midfield, you could see against Algeria, most of the first half, he played closer to his box than the other box. And you want Alan on the other side, not this side. So there was a lot of imbalance in the first game. So the second game, the difference was that the team was a bit more balanced. With typical midfielders, and then an attacker, and they had a wing attacker and a wing attacker. So that gave them, when they come back in the middle, they are five when they're defending. And then they had the leader, Njudise Mugabe, who initially was playing on the right wing, but now he brings him center. So he made a few changes in terms of the structure. And then I think he rallied them in terms of working hard, not giving up, and being relentless. And that's how we managed to beat Guinea. So you have to give credit to Mole and Muhumuza that the weight was too much on them. The weight was too much on all of us, even Uganda in terms of hosting. But everybody who was given a role in this campaign called Chan, I think everybody has brought their A game, they have performed, and in the end, we can be proud of it.
In fact, for me, Mark, I'll say this. On the balance of play, I'll tell you that those 6 minutes against South Africa and the 90 minutes against Senegal, for me, the Cranes did very well. Because we showed resilience, which I've never seen in Cranes at Nambole. Typically, when we go a goal down, that's it. It becomes like we get graveyard silence, the shoulders sag of the fans of the players, and then we never come back. But we forced South Africa into mistakes, and then we sneaked through. In the game against Senegal, in the quarterfinal, I'm on record here, I predicted Senegal to prevail over us. But over 90 minutes of play, we were decent. We competed very well against them. We had the better chances. I always felt Senegal had that extra bit of experience and professionalism, which they were going to pounce on, and they utilized it fully. But I thought we did very, very well against them over 90 minutes.
Under the circumstances. Okay. Now, gentlemen, where do we go from here? Mujib, we've got World Cup qualifiers coming up. You've talked about a manager who prefers the guys who are playing abroad. We've seen the squad that has been called up. We have got AFCON coming up in December in Morocco. and we've got AFCON to prepare for 2027. Where do we go from here as far as that national team is concerned? How many of the guys at Chan should be incorporated in the senior one? What should the senior team do get us out of group phases of AFCON, compete better at AFCON in 2027, where we're going to have tougher competition because all the big boys will be coming from Europe. Whatever group we get, there's a possibility that we will not come out of it if we do not improve on what has happened this year.
Yes.
So where do we go from there?
First of all, we should be having a think tank that looks at football using the technical eye. You know, football, we watch football through two kinds of eyes. We have the naked eye that everybody sees, the fans.
Yes.
And fans these days, they have watched the game and they understand the game, but they still have a naked eye. Now, those that use the technical eye, not to be overwhelmed with the performance of the team, but break it down and see where we are still lacking. Truth be told, when we played countries that come from the elite level 1, Algeria, Morocco, Senegal, on the field of play, leave alone the results, we really struggled.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We
South Africa
really
also,
struggled.
yeah.
What we saw on the field and the performances we had, you can attribute it to the strong character of the players.
Yes.
And the fans coming together behind them.
The 12th man.
supporting, you know, the 12th man. And that spirit of being the host really downed on us, and we were able to get performances. But structurally, we still have issues, the way we organize, the structure of the team, the way we organize, and then the basic understanding of the game, what to do, when, and how. For instance, our players, people are saying, and indeed true, that Alan Okello showed up and then showed out of the game. He was playing in phases. Yes, much as that is true, it does not mean the boy is not talented.
Absolutely.
It does not mean he doesn't have an X factor. It means he has not been helped. And this is where the education of the game comes from. So in many of the situations, people, when they give him the ball, they are waiting for him to do something. Yet, you can combine with him.
It's supposed to be support.
Exactly. And have a combination of two of you to beat this one man. You see the goal we scored against
was it Guinea or Niger?
Who scored the goal? Then I'll tell you things.
Jude Semugabi.
That was opener
against South Africa.
Yes.
You see, they combined well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, a drive by Regan Impande, then he lays it for Kakande. Kakande lays it now.
Yes.
That is what we call playing in patterns or combining to have strength.
Yes.
But many times our players, when one of them has the ball, the others don't know what to do.
Yes.
Sometimes the one who has the ball needs me to go here or to come here or to go near him. The South Africans, you could see they could go in the tight area and two of them show up. One touch, and they get out of there. So such things are the ones that players lacked, and those ones are not their own doing. They need to be educated better to improve on their player intelligence and then have structures.
Actually, there are so many times when Alan was in possession and he was
confused.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I mean, we have got to understand a player's strength, and his teammates should know this, that Alan is not going to use bursts of pace or try and take on and beat 3-4 players. Every time he beat a player, it was because he was forced into it. It was like a second option.
The one last thing,
Alan wants to bounce the ball off you and move with you.
Yes.
Mark,
but people are not availing themselves.
Because they don't understand that. What you see now, his fellow players, they don't know it.
Yeah.
So they don't know how best to play with Alan. Alan doesn't know how to play with these people. So in the end, you see a bit of people who are confused, who don't seem to know.
Yeah.
But all the things have to be taught to them and not at the national team.
Mujib and Mark, let me say this. Because we all love football. When we watch football, night and day. And we've done it our entire lives. So we've discussed and reminisced and debated about first touches. Babatov, Juan Mata, Messi, Ronaldo. Mark, I would pay my entire bank balance to watch Alan's first touch. Some of the balls Alan controlled, cross-field passes, difficult balls from the sky, with just the tip of the boot. For me, it was gold. It was pure gold. And these are things which you cannot quantify them. And for some of us who love football in its purest form, these are things which take us to Nambole. And,
it was brilliant, yeah. I've seen a criticism of him not dominating games. But I think there are two bits there. One is that as Uganda, I don't think there are games where we actually dominated in possession.
No.
For us to have the ball long enough for one player to actually be dictating.
Yeah.
I think even the goals, four of the goals we scored out of the 8 came from penalty positions. 3 were direct penalties, the fourth one was a tap back. The other 4 were largely on the break. So because that means that we are soaking up pressure, winning the ball back and playing into space.
Yeah.
Now, so it was difficult under the circumstances, but also I don't think that he's that kind of player. There are players who dominate games by being on the ball all the time.
Yeah, that's not Alan.
And that's not him. And I don't mind him picking and choosing moments if they are of impact. Because, Alan is not going to be, say, on the ball as much as Mpande or even Kakande. Guys who are driving, taking on players, driving. But he can actually decide a game with those moments. And for me, that's not a big problem. But yes, like I was asking you, Mujib, so what happens? How do we shape this team? And I want you then to look at those Chan players and say, look, if we're going to World Cup qualifiers, this one should be involved. As you do that, I'd like for you to make comments as well about the selection that has been made for the World Cup qualifiers. And the biggest one of them being Dennis Onyango. Should he be coming out of retirement and returning to the Cranes fold? Is it important for us? Is it a bad move on our side or his? What do you make of this, and what does it say about our future if we are going back to Dennis?
First of all, we should drop the habit of developing players at the national team level. I can guarantee you 90% of the fans didn't know the players that Uganda featured until the tournament started.
I saw that.
Mujib, you're being generous. I think 96.
I challenged people on X, on Twitter, before.
I followed, yeah.
You did, I was asking them to give me a lineup just so I could understand, because when you saw,
I think it's 97%.
More than 30,000 people viewed the tweet,
Yes.
but only 70 responded. 76 responded. Because the others did not bother, because
they didn't know where to start.
Some of those responded actually.
Some of them even first asked you for the names.
Yes. Where they play. So you saw that, yeah?
Yeah. And that's because we have neglected the league. And everything good we want to see with the national team, we don't prepare it there. It is done here at the league.
Yes.
Players develop in the league. It is the league that gives them exposure.
I'll put it this way, Mujib. It is like expecting your son or daughter to do well in senior 4. When you've neglected him in senior 1, senior 2, senior 3.
Yes, yeah.
And then you bring him for senior 4
you want
results.
him to do well
And then
at
you
your
want him to do well
but here you didn't care.
You didn't
Not
about
knowing
him.
this was supposed to prepare him
Yes,
for the
exactly,
game. It is
exactly.
exactly the same. That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So we need to get back and improve the coaches by investing in them, then make the league strong. We have to do deliberate things, because you look at teams like Tanzania, all their top players are playing top African football, because Simba and Yanga perennially are in the Champions League.
Yes.
Not only to play one game and come out,
No.
but they are going to the final of the competition, both of them.
Yeah.
So if players are playing at that level, they are getting experience, they are getting exposure, and they are getting the class you need to the national team. But here, we have neglected the league. The clubs are not doing well on the continent. We don't have representation. Even when people go, they play one game and they come out. And we are not consistent. This year, KCC goes. The other year, Viper goes, and then KCC doesn't go back.
Mujib, how do we support? Expand on that. How do we support the league? Mujib, how do we support the league? So yes, you've talked about the league being neglected. Put it clearly. How do we support the league?
The league, first of all, the league now needs investment. Because we all know how expensive it is to run a football club, and let alone to run a league. But clubs are using meager resources because they are coming from individual pockets. and they can never be enough.
Yeah.
So we need to invest in the league such that clubs can feed them well. Clubs can bring the technology. Club can hire the experts. Clubs, can pay them well. Look after them.
Should that be the role of the FA or the club owners and the club
It
management?
is the role of the primarily it is the role of the club.
Yeah.
But remember, football should not be looked at it that it is for Mujib who owns the club, or Mulindwa, or Mandela. Football is a national asset and a public good. Although some circles people don't want that, but football, you cannot deny this is a public thing.
Yes.
The public may leave it to you to manage it,
Yes.
but you are serving the public, as we have seen with Jan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the biggest issue that with our economy and the corporate setup here, the corporate world cannot come to us now because we are not organized, we don't have the numbers, and we are not professional enough. So we need what they call seed money.
Yes.
We cannot get seed money through loans. We
Yes.
cannot get them through, international organization grants. Even FIFA cannot give money for the clubs because for them they put in development.
Yes.
Now, where do we turn to? We turn to government
Yeah.
and say, government, you're already investing in football, but the priorities are the ones we need to change. Why do you spend 17 billion only on the national teams? Yet down here, where the people who play the national team are coming from, there's nothing being done. So it's a matter of prioritizing and then invest. Once you put money in the clubs, the competitiveness will go up, the professionalism, the numbers will improve. And I can give you examples. Express struggled for so many years. I don't know the time they had last won the league. I think 2012.
Yes, 2012.
Kabenge,
20 of the Kabenge
20
one,
of
yeah.
some symbol.
that we had
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
And they were struggling because they didn't have money.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, KK comes and invests money in the club for that 1 year. What happened to Express? They won a double.
They won a double, yeah.
They won
Won a double.
the regional trophy,
Yeah.
Tsekafa, and then
Yeah.
they also won the league.
Yeah.
Yes.
What happened to Vida when Mandela came back?
Yeah.
Immediately,
They won the league.
they were the
Yes.
league champions.
Yes.
Actually, they were supposed to have won twice. The
Yes.
other way, the season before, they deducted their points, but they
Yes.
had collected more points than anybody else.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at Chitara, when they come and pumped money in the
Yes.
club, they won the trophy.
Yes.
So it shows that every time you invest in a club and the money is used properly, the results, you'll see them on the field. We see them in Man City, with Newcastle.
Yes.
Now it is all over the place. So
Yes.
this is what we need to do. So the seed money from government will help the clubs. And once the clubs use that money well, they build the numbers, and then the sponsors will come. The TV deals will improve.
Yeah.
Before you know, there's more money coming in. So we have been stuck there. The clubs are stuck there. We cannot leave Express to be who they are, because the football of this country is built on Express, Villa, and KCC.
And I think, Mujib, in addition to what the point you're raising, look at the teams that did that we marveled at in Chan. Look at Algeria. Look at Morocco, who are in the final right now. Just compare the kind of league Morocco has. Wydad Casablanca, Roger Casablanca, Bikane, the amount of wages they're paying. Listen, we are light years behind some of these leagues, and we may not be like the Moroccan Bottle League tomorrow, but we should aspire to do the things they're doing to elevate the kind of league we have here.
But look at Tanzania, what they're doing
Yeah.
with their football and with their league. A Ugandan player right now cannot play in Yanga. From this league
Yes.
to Yanga
Yes.
or Simba, it is impossible. Yes, we have two who are playing there, but they came from another league. They came from here, they went to another league, and later they went there. And that's Awucho and Mukwala. But recently we took Gift Fred, who was
Yes.
our best player here.
Yes.
After 3 months, they sent him back.
I
to
can
us.
go as far as saying, Mark and Mujib, that the Ugandan League is the least paying in this region compared to Rwanda, Tanzania, and Kenya. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which is why we're losing some of our players to the Rwandese league.
Even Somalia is paying more than us. They give you $400.
Well, yeah. So, yeah,
I think that's an indictment on our league, yes.
How are we going to generate this? I mean, what does it take then to convince government about actually spending money on the league itself under the circumstances that you're saying? And you got an opportunity, for example, when the powers that be of government were all in the same room. Because the thing is, the challenge that FUFA have is that they have so many things to take care of at the same time. You're talking leagues, you've just talked about the national team. FUFA boasts of 10 And then they've got women's football. They've got the other things we were talking about. Coaches,
beach soccer,
and all, and delegates, and they've got their own politics as well to take care of. How do we get them, the FA, to concentrate on football? How do we convince government that, rather on the league, and how do we convince government that that's where the way to go? Or have you made an effort to do that? You had the microphone, I think, for 1 or 2 minutes when the First Lady and His Excellency the President and the Minister were in the same room with the FIFA President. What transpired?
See, the problem with dealing with experienced journalists. Directly, you're getting me to reveal. I almost fell for it.
Oh, you on the spot.
But for me, the biggest takeaway, individual as a football person, in this Chan thing and AFCON, is the fact that now government has come closer to the game.
Yes.
That's football is a drug. All you need is to get somebody in there.
Yeah.
The rest will be automatic.
Yes.
Now, once they have gotten close, they are asking the tough questions. Why are we not like Algeria? Why are we not like Morocco? What do we need to do as government? What are we doing wrong? They are asking those questions, and now genuinely, because they don't want to go back in a tournament and they are weaker than the other teams.
Yes.
So that means now they will listen. They are looking for solutions. And from what I see, I think very soon government will start to help in the right direction. So we have been always crying out and saying now, our priorities had been put on Uganda Cranes. And this is historical because we had taken so long without going there. It became the priority for Ugandans. But once we went there and quenched that thirst, we should have gone back to the drawing board and say, okay, what is the best way to do it? You don't build from the top. We need to build from down here. What you saw in Ambole throughout this is that Uganda has a lot of talent. You ask me who should have been in that Chan team, I can guarantee you, Mark, we would have invited another set of players, and that team would have even beaten this one. That's how much talent we have in this country.
Okay.
But the way we nurture it, the way we develop it, the way we structure the leagues and all that, that's where the issue is. But now I see government being interested. In that meeting, the minister, First Lady, asked technical questions. You know, from the game she had seen. When the president came and joined the meeting, also, he started with asking technical, genuine, and the right questions that you need to ask technical people who run the game. So that shows that they have gotten interested, and now they are looking for solutions. So we should use this opportunity now to go back on the board. FUFA should lead this and say, okay, this is the way to go. Let us do the right things and make sure that in the next few years, then we can get to the top. But
basically,
we have the habit of fixing, going into the squad that they have just called. For me, I do not agree with somebody retiring for 4 years, and then 4 years later, you call him back. Because the ones who are there made a 1 or 2 mistakes in the game. This is not how you develop. You know, so once now Onyango comes back, it means the development of the others has been put on hold. You see, so I don't see the reason why we are quick fixing, especially in these games that are World Cup qualifiers. Because are we ready for the World Cup level?
The World Cup is not even.
No, we're not.
Shouldn't be the priority. I mean,
exactly.
It would be a great bonus if we went,
Yes.
and it has happened for other countries before. For our first time, Angola, DRC, and all. But yeah, I agree with you.
Maybe it's come for the 2030 World Cup.
No, but to be honest,
because we're not going to qualify
even without
for
thinking about qualification for the World Cup and all, I don't know where this decision has come from. I don't know if you have, if you know it. I don't know if it has been the players' decision, the federation's decision, or the coach's decision, because those are 3 different entities. But the player himself, ideally, should have seen that history is not kind.
It's a wrong decision. It's a wrong decision by all accounts. Dennis Onyango, my very good friend, he doesn't have age on his side. He's not been playing club football for Melody Sundowns. He's been on the fringes. He's being phased out. Why would you return someone who's being phased out at his club, Melody Sundowns, back into the national team fold when he should be building the team for
His
the
legacy.
future.
Can you imagine
The only
his
thing
legacy?
he can do to his legacy is to spoil it. He cannot enhance his legacy.
I worry
I'm on
about
record
that. I
on
worry
that.
about that, and I'd like to hear if actually it was his decision. And if it isn't, if he actually has responded positively to it, because then he would have taken the bait. Because the thing is, there's little that Onyango can do to actually
Fix the problems.
Yeah, fix the problems that we have generally, but also even better his own performances from previously. Yeah.
But is he coming as a goalkeeping coach or is he coming as
One of the
He
goalkeepers.
He has been called as one of the
As a
goalkeepers,
player.
along with Nafian Alionzi and John Takubwa
And Salim Magola.
and Salim Magola.
we are not short in that department, Mark, because we have many able, not even I won't say replacements, many able options. You have Lukwago, you have Nafian Alionzi, you have
Salim Magola.
Salim Magola, you have
You had
Mutakuwa,
Watenga.
you have Watenga.
No.
It is not a crisis position.
No, it's
where
not, yeah.
I
And listen, the thing is that, of course, Onyango can still play. When you have that much experience, you can, a few training sessions and one practice match here and there, and you can come and shine. The question for me is, to what end? What exactly is
Mark, I've seen you on the basketball court. Mark was the MVP of basketball in 1995. For our viewers who may not know this, Mark can still shoot the ball. He'll shoot threes. He'll shoot. He'll make the shots off the line. But Mark, we don't want you in our national team. I don't know you can still shoot. So that's the message I'll tell Dennis. He's a legend. He's a legend. He was part of the first AFCON,
stopped
but-
playing a long time ago. But the thing is,
And listen, Mark, and God forbid, I hope this doesn't happen. What if Dennis comes back? If Dennis is in the team, he's going to be started.
he has to start.
And then he makes
He's
a
not
mistake.
a bench player.
He makes a mistake because maybe he makes the same mistakes Watenga made in the game against Mozambique. These things happen. Are you going to drop him? Are you going to retire him for a second time? I don't know.
It's they are calling Salim Jamal, I think, for the first time.
They
have been calling and dropping him.
It's a lose-lose situation, this one, for both Dennis and the national team.
It shows panic, and we are not deliberate, and that has always been our problem. In the things we do, we are not deliberate, that we are going to do this and end up there. We are always looking at what is ahead of us in the next 2-3 days, and that's not the way to develop a game in a country. Look at South Africa, the team they brought here. They have only invited one from the team that was here into the main squad. Yes. And their league did not even stop.
They brought
Chan was going on.
South Africa brought
So they knew why the Chan team, they are using it for development.
It was a development.
It was their C team. It was their C team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for us, we don't even know. So we are not deliberate on the things we do. And with football, if you are not deliberate, you will end up like Manchester United. They are no longer deliberate. they want to fix quickly. And before you know, is Amorim the 8th coach? Since Ferguson?
Yes,
and the problems are still there.
Yeah.
Why? Because they want to fix what is in front of them.
Yeah.
So that is not the way to develop, especially football in the country. But we will pray that Onyango comes and enjoys his out of retirement football. He has a huge legacy that I don't want it to be touched, especially in the negative.
Me too. But actually, Onyango should understand that while we are huge critics here because it's what we do and all. For me, especially in his case, it's not out of
It's to protect what he has
exactly.
done. I didn't want it
I
touched.
value it so much that there was a time when he was the continent's
Because-
best goalkeeper. There's a time, Jiba, I'll tell you, when I rated Onyango above Onana, and Onana was at Ajax then.
But even
And
now,
Onyango
you
was
can
the
still
best.
do that. Even now, you can still do that.
And that was before Inter Milan and Man United and all the everything that has happened.
I'll take Onyango ahead of Onana any day.
I have never.
But the problem with football guys,
Yeah.
is that you remembered by your last game.
Yeah.
How you end. So now people will always look at Onyango's career with what is going to happen here. We pray that he comes and then somehow he elevates from where he stopped. But
Stephen Keshi.
Hopefully the players in camp can learn from, because the good thing about Onyango is that he's vocal and
he's willing to help.
He's willing
and
to help. So
offer
he will
us-
talk to these players, give them advice and everything. The goalkeepers, it can rub off on them just training with him. and the other players can learn a few other things.
Stephen Keshimak, may his soul rest in eternal peace. When he won the AFCON with Nigeria in 2013, he brought a team of largely home-based players. And they were asking him about the other guys whom he dropped. What is this guy who was in West Brom? The Russian Nigerian. Peter Demwingis and a couple of others. Yes. And he said, sitting on the bench of West Bromwich Albion or any club in Europe does not rank you above someone who's been playing games in Nigeria week in, week out. So I'm going to go with this team and I'll stick to it. And let's see what happens. Of course, he went on and won the AFCON. I'm trying to understand how, because Dennis is not playing for Mamelodi Sundowns, Mark. You and I know it. We watch the PSL, watch the South African games.
Club World Cup
Even at the Club World Cup, he never played a single game. Now, why is the justification, and Muji, I'm asking you this as someone who's coached and you've been at the highest level, where is the thought process of bringing him to the national team fold to potentially start games for the national team?
It is a lack of confidence in what they have. They have totally lost confidence in the goalkeepers they have. So they are saying, Onyango, who's seated on the bench 4 years after retirement, at now 40, is still better than you guys. And that's one way looking at it. But the most important way from a coaching point of view is that these ones you don't have confidence in. What do you need to do to improve them? So that they become better, because Onyango is not going to be here forever, you know. So you will still come back to these ones. So for me, I think it was a panic move. Onyango might have done it out of the love for his country. They have asked him. Probably one or two influential people was involved in this and said, okay, for my country, let me come and do it. But he didn't want it to be like this.
Has he reconciled with the FA president? There were some tough exchanges.
They have, because even this Chan, he was in camp helping out with the goalkeepers.
Okay.
So, you know, now some things are like politics, no permanent enemies.
No, you don't have any permanent enemies. But anyway, I'd like to go back as we wind down on this one, because I think we'll bring you back and have more conversations about this. The national team is going to be really busy over the next 3-4 years. But I'm going back to the bit you talked about where when I asked you about the way forward, you actually talked about the league. You talked about its financing, the seed money. You talked about the seed money. You talked about prioritization of the league and everything. There's a new format that has been put on the table by the people who run the league as the one that we should use. How does that fit into what your vision of the league is, and what is it where we start? Is it a good starting point? What have you made of that format? Because it's actually become a talking point. Because Chan was still in the way, that's why it's not been discussed widely. But now Chan is winding down. We're definitely going to turn there. What do you make of the format? And is it what they should do? If not, what should they do?
The new reforms that were announced by FUFA are totally uncalled for and ill-advised. This is what they are suggesting, Mark. The teams now are going to play one round. So each of them will play 15 matches. After the first round, they are going to divide the league into two. Number 1 to number 8 will play in their own league. Number 9 to number 16 will play in their own league. So number 1 to number 8 are going to be playing for the trophy, for the championship. Yes. Number 9 to number 16 are playing to avoid relegation. That is the first. Now, the points you accumulated in the first round do not matter. All of you go back to zero. Now, after the second round, the 8 play home and away, and these 8, they play each other home and away. Now, number 7 and 8 from this group A, number 1 to 8, 7 and 8, the season ends there for you. So the 6 continue in the third round, home and away. These ones who are fighting relegation, at the end of the first round, number 1 and 2, also their league stops there. The other 6 continue to fight the battle for relegation.
Drop, yeah.
Yes. Now, What is wrong with?
Where has it been implemented?
I don't know. Somebody needs to have a better Google
Yeah,
to dig deep and bring it out. But what I know,
I don't mind an innovation being completely new as long as it works. But yeah,
in
go ahead.
football, Mark, be wary of something that is completely new in football, because we know the best leagues in the world. We know people invest money in research and looking for the best.
Yeah.
If they have avoided that very thing, and for you have found it, and you are here in Uganda finding it, and they have never seen it, you know there's something wrong with it, because these people every day and night. So this is what is wrong with it.
Yes.
First, they said that is going to address two things: one, competitiveness, and two, match fixing. Now, I am telling you, they cannot improve competitiveness because after the first round, you have decided that these 8 are relegation material. It is unfair on me or club because they labeled me cannot finish in the top 3.
Yeah.
And we've seen it happen before.
It happens time and again. So
yeah.
you cannot label me like that.
Yes.
That now because I'm number 9 out of 16, I'm now relegation material. I should not compete to finish 2nd or 3rd. Yet there is money to fight for by finishing 3rd or 2nd or 4th.
And then that's the purpose of mid-season transfers, to strengthen. You have your weaknesses,
Mid-season
show up at the back, get a striker. Yeah.
Secondly, now, once I fight and I become number 8, so I go in this group that is fighting for the championship, I am certain I cannot win the championship, but I am not going to be relegated. So if I am a match fixer and we have them here, you have given me leeway to sell the next 14 matches because they don't matter. Even if I lose all of them, I am safe.
And Mark, we'll talk about
your points from the first round.
now,
Is all that
enough.
mattered. Yeah.
Yes.
I am happy Muji mentions match fixing because it's a very big vice, and we'll talk about it in subsequent shows.
Then the other 2 after the second round that drop off are going to finish their league in March. And the next league starts in October. So they will be out of football for almost 7 months because the other 6 will continue after these ones have dropped off. And you will find that some of the players in that category, in those 2 teams, are national team players.
Oh, yes.
We have seen when KCC is number 10.
Oh, yes.
KCC last year finished, I think number 6.
Yes.
They had the most players in Chan.
Yes.
So imagine when you have such a scenario
where you
put players out
and
for 7 years,
they
are not playing. Then the other issue.
I know, where did Bull finish this season? Or Kitara?
Number 4 and number 5. But in the first round, they were in relegation.
Yeah. Yes.
But you cannot punish me for being a slow starter because this is the league.
Yeah.
Then most importantly, the league is supposed to be played. The principle of a league is supposed to be played on level ground. That means same number of matches. That means I have same number at my home and away. I come to you, you come to me. This destroys that principle.
Actually,
because even in the first round, they are making draws for you to determine who you play in this first round.
You don't play all the 15?
You play them, but to determine who you play. Because you don't have a chance to play him again. So here they are making a draw. So if you are unlucky and you draw NEC, you draw KCC, you draw URA, you are relegated immediately. And we have seen it happen. Last year, Chitara's first 5 games, they were playing the first 5 teams. Yes. And that's how they ended up fighting relegation at the end of the first round.
What you're
so
saying,
you cannot subject a league
what you're saying
to something like that.
Is that if that format was employed in England, Manchester United would be headed for the drop.
Yeah, Manchester United will have been.
No, but listen. But when you say that you can, the first 5 matches can drop you into the other zone, isn't that then lending strength to the argument that the federation and UPL have, that they're actually going to be making this more competitive? It means that you have to start strong.
Yeah,
and I've fight in every match.
Said yes, and I've said I am going to start strong, because there is this target I want to meet. But remember, 3 rounds. At the end of 1 round, I have met that target. Now, all of a sudden, there's nothing I am playing for, because if I'm number 8. Around 16 teams in the second round, I can still be relegated, isn't it?
Yeah.
So here, you are telling me that if I meet the target and I am number 8 and I go here, I am pro-line.
Yes,
You see,
I
and
know.
I am a match fixer.
Then you'll
Then,
start to do that. But
then
let me tell you, yeah. So you've pointed out two very big ones for me. One is that while the designers of the format believed that it might do away with match fixing, it doesn't,
It
and,
increases
and,
the
and you
risk.
can't run away from what you've said. Two is that there's so many players and teams going inactive for very long periods in a year. And yet the league is supposed to keep people throughout the football season engaged.
Engaged, yeah.
So those are huge worries for me. And the ultimately also the bit about that, regardless, I might want to start strong, but I'm not being given a chance either to bounce back or to drop off. Because historically in Uganda, there are a few things that have happened. One of those is when I was growing up, at the time when I was starting to play football competitively and all, one of the strongest clubs in the country was Kofi. Almost every first round between 1987 and 91, if I remember, Kofi were leading the league at halfway stage, but they didn't win any of those titles. And so it begs the question that you have got to stay the course, however good you are.
You have
that was
to.
a very tough. That was a very great Kofi squad, by the way, and it was unfortunate that then Villa had more staying power than them. Villa would bounce back second round and all, and eventually go the entire season unbeaten, and Kofi would lose only one or two games and then lose the title and all. But also the bit about the lull that you talked about, but it reminds me of several things. One, when does the league start, for example? Two, how much consultation has been done before that format was designed? If not much, why was that?
I mean, there's been a huge resistance.
Why was that
to that format from Haji Omar Mandela and Dr. Lawrence
Yeah,
Mulembe?
because it reminds me of something that has happened in our society in just recent months. It was about the new traffic regulations and fines
Exactly.
that had been installed. While the motive was good, the fact that the consultation might not have been as extensive as it should have been, certain things missed out, because when you put brains together, you come out with the refined bit. So the motive for making the league competitive on its own, if it's an innocent motive, is a very good one. Does that mean, Mujib, because I've asked you those two questions, when does the league start? How much consultation was done? Do we go back and refine this very competition or this very format with more consultation, or do we abandon it altogether?
The new one should be abandoned, and that's what the clubs are asking for. Because when you break it down, you don't see benefits, you see more problems with it. Yes, the league needs to be competitive, but there's one thing missing now: investment in the league. And now FIFA is doing all of that. Because now, as we speak now, they have promised to invest, I think, about 3 billion now in the league. So that is where they needed to go. But
where did the 3 billion come from?
3 billion.
3 billion.
That's a good thing.
Exactly, and this
That's
is
a
what we
very
have
good
been
thing.
calling for.
Yes.
And for them, they answered with bringing reforms. Now that the reforms have been pushed back, now they have gone back to this one. And this is the right thing. Invest in the league, because we have shown examples and in the past that when you invest in the league, the competitiveness will improve. The match fixing, you will reduce it, because if I'm fighting to win 28 million by finishing 7th, how much are you going to give me to lose a match and I end up being 10th and I lose the 28? You see?
Yes.
So that's how you make the league competitive.
Okay, I've seen that. I think I've seen on social media. It must be accurate anyway. I think it came out of the mainstream media to get onto socials, that the FIFA president, Engineer Makoko, has invited the club presidents of Vipers and Villa, that's Omar Mandela and Lawrence Mulindwa, to a meeting on this, because they were the ones who first went on record as rejecting it. My belief then is that that's a meeting that should be expanded.
And the clubs, that's what the condition they said. We want to come, all of us.
Not
Not only the two of us. Because the clubs had their own yesterday. They had their own. And they had about 10 members who were there. And now they're saying, now we want a meeting where everybody is. And then we talk about this. But the clubs are going in the meeting to say no. not to refine it, not to
say
no.
That's their stance.
That's their stance.
But I would have loved, from a neutral point of view, I'd have loved for the clubs to keep an open mind.
And that's what
That's
FIFA
one.
should have done with the consultation process.
Yeah.
What they did, they called them on the eve of the assembly, and they broke the ice of what they were bringing. I say, guys, we are expecting, we might do like 15, 20 minutes. And then a month later, they invite them at 11, they receive an email at 11 at night, come for a meeting tomorrow at FUFA. And then in that meeting, they just told them what they were going to do. Yeah. So that is not a consultation process.
I see two things here which I believe. One is that I would love for the clubs to keep a more open mind. And two, I would love for FUFA to not label that as a meeting, to actually turn it instead into a symposium or seminar at which presentations are made, discussions are made, wholesome ones, because then people will come up with ideas, and either at the end of that, then the verdict you're saying that the links that you've come up with already,
Mark,
and that the clubs have come up with can be that you guys, we have discussed this expansively, and there's no way it's going to work.
Mark, I'll ask one question.
If we are going to actually make this work, let's make these adjustments. I'd like for that not to be a meeting.
I'll ask one question,
but
Mark.
a symposium or seminar.
I'll ask one question.
With bigger stakeholders than just Mandela and Mulindwa.
Mark, list the top 5 leagues of head in the world.
No, the top 5 leagues in the world.
Yeah,
are the
your top
leagues
5.
in Europe. They're the top 5 leagues in Europe.
Mujib, list the top 5 leagues in Africa of head.
Africa, Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, South Africa.
Where is this format being implemented in any of the leagues you've mentioned?
For me, that doesn't happen.
That's what I was. In football, that is important.
But saying in football, you don't.
Important.
You don't do new things.
Because we have enough benchmarks.
I agree.
No, but guys, if you say in football, you don't do too much.
We're not the model football country in the world in terms of.
No, Mark, do you see
But
this?
listen,
Do you see
abandoning
this model
back-
working in the Premier League and they're accepting it?
No, by the way, they've tried several reforms, and they too have had pushbacks against many things that they. I mean, for example, there was the 1 or 2 clubs, the bigger ones, had wanted to go in conjunction with Madrid, Barcelona, and AC Milan, and
In the league like this one being proposed.
That's why they pushed it, and the other guys rejected
Yeah.
it. But remember that the reforms we're talking about are how the Premier League was born in the first place in 1992. Remember because the clubs pushed for
but
reforms.
still, Mark, even
But
even
the
old big
reforms
leagues-
in the reforms in '92
Yeah.
were purely financial. And they were saying, let us control our finances, let us do our own deals.
And it was done by the
when
clubs
Sky,
anyway.
yes, exactly. The clubs are supposed to sit and come up with their own reforms,
Yes.
forward them to FUFA
Yes.
for approval. But in Uganda, they are coming from people who are not running the game to the people who are running the clubs. And that's how it's wrong. In 1992, the club sat and said, these are the reforms we want. We want to run our own league and manage it. We want to do our own deals. We want to share money like this. They had the same problems like we have. And it went to court, and court said, let the clubs run their own thing. Let them do their own money. And what changed the fortunes of the Premier League is that they started to control the finances. Once they started to get money, competition immediately went up, because now they bought players from the continent. Now they are overtaking Italy, Germany, and all these things. They were paying well.
Yeah.
They are bringing coaches from the continent right now, if you see. And that's how we see the Premier League going up. But not changing the format and then making it complicated to even choose the champion.
Even for the basic fun, Mark. Imagine just how much
You'll
time
get
it will
lost
take
in that format.
Are you sure? No, I'm going to study it some more. Yeah, but of course for me there's a worry.
It's a mouthful, Mark,
when a league,
to explain to the fan.
When a league becomes a cup competition, because from what you've described,
It is a tournament.
At the end, it becomes like a cup.
Yeah, the
competition.
first one is a tournament, because even the points don't carry to the next stage.
Yes.
Those are gone. So you can win the first tournament, the first round, and you become number 1. But because you go to 0, then you struggle in the second one. But the league is an accumulation of points from all of
Where
you.
every team plays everyone.
But this one now, there are like 3 tournaments in one thing.
Are you saying, or is it then that we can actually adopt this format for a third competition in the country?
If they want to try it, some people are saying you should have put it in the regional leagues and try it there. But here, it has so many, and it still has more issues. Gate collection, FUFA is now coming. They want a share in the gate collection. UPL.
Oh yeah.
It's a mess.
My solution is this: symposium seminar, not meeting. 2, open minds from everybody. 3, more stakeholders to be involved. I mean, I'd like to be part of it. I'm not part of
Yes,
clubs.
this is something that should take
I'm not
a
part
year
of clubs.
in
I'm not
the
part of the
federation.
federation.
Because
so
now a person like
I'll
you,
not have an
you
invite,
would-
but
yeah,
I want to be there.
But a person like you would give neutral views in a meeting like that. If you are
Yes.
part of the larger consultation.
I believe I
But
would.
nothing like this.
I believe
my
I would.
solution-
And I played in the league.
Do
so it's-
not reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. We know the best practices. We know the best leagues in Africa, all over the world. Why are we reinventing the wheel?
Thank you,
On
guys.
what grounds? On what basis?
Thank you, guys. We'll leave it on that, on that note. The conversation we've had with Mujibu Kasole is so interesting. We are going to have to serialize it. It's going to become series.
But we'll bring it back, definitely.
Yeah,
We have
for
a lot
now.
more. We have a lot more to catch up.
For now, we're out. Bye-bye.